Okay, yeah, clean the gasket surface. Again, we gave it a good washing, and yeah, the crank's out of it. So we put it all in the parts washer, cleaned it all up. Okay, check that seal. It seals in good shape. Took the breather out of it, of course. We've got to replace that gasket. Didn't even finish cleaning up that gasket surface yet. Left the windings on. There's no reason to take them off. Again, I just wanted to make sure that everything was cool back here. So that's why we cleaned up the back side of the motor. Give it a wipey wipe. Still wiping. Okay, but everything is good. No extra debris wherever. Just finishing wiping it down. Yes, I have the filter that goes in here. So I just cleaned up the breather assembly too. Okay. So, but again, we knocked off tops of the cylinders. Okay, so they're all clean, but again, we see lots of polish. So now's the moment of truth, if you will. We've got to, oops, my makeshift, not a bench. Yeah, just piled up on top of one thing after the other. But it's nice and clean and spiffy inside. Yeah, a little bit of, you know, solvent here and there. But again, clean these up. I'll stone these edges lightly just to make sure that there's no burrs. Same thing with the cylinder heads here. I'll chase all the threads and stuff like that as we're starting to put it back together. But the big thing is them pretty shiny bores. Okay? So, well, how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we're going to do, look at the damn manual. Of course I have a manual. Okay, and I tend to buy service manuals for everything I have. I just do. Some of this stuff is available online. These aren't generally available online, I've found. You can get the parts manual, you can get a owner's manual, but when you try and find these, you know, you'll find them depending on the motor type model that you're looking at. But right down here is what we're looking at. Standard bore size. Okay, check the cylinder bores for wear using telescoping gauges and a dial caliper. Really? Dial caliper? Okay, well, let's give it a shot. And our number's 2970. 2.970. That's the magic number. Okay, what's the reject? Reject is 3 thousandths and out of round by more than 1.5 thou. Okay, so that's our number there, at least for the bores. And again, they're polished, so you know they could be way out. So we need to find out. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so dial calipers, right? Good old General. Actually, we can read it to the 10th. So the funny thing is, we could actually read these out. I'm going to turn this light off. That might be a little bit better. Yeah, okay. So, but it's only accurate to a 10th. I've had these forever, and I've thrown them in places. And I'll tell you what, as a quick and dirty, it's not too bad. Okay, and actually, let's do a quick and dirty. Okay. Quick and dirty, right at the top of the bore. What do we got? Okay, that's 2. $9.50? No way. 2,950. Let's pull her out as tight as far as we can. There we go. At 2,970 actually, which makes sense because again, top of the bore, you know, probably has a ridge, and it tells us this hasn't been bored over. Okay, 2,970. So that's good. Why don't we use some better tools, huh? Ta-da! Yeah. There's one. Oh, crap. It's metric. Yeah, I got him an inch in metric. I was just joking around. Actually, we're going to use this cheap Wen. It's not bad, and it measures to the accuracy we need. We're actually going to use a micrometer as well, but just here. Okay. And again, we're going to use better tools, but just use these Wens really quick. What do we got here? 270. 272, huh? Really? 270. Yeah. And come on. Not the best in the world. That's reading a 272, huh? Okay. So, zero that out. Oh, no, I don't want to zero that out. Zero it out again. Again, these are cheap, but they're cheap. And they're accurate enough. Again, most of the stuff that I do is actually comparative based instead of standards based. And we actually probably will use a bore gauge quickly. But what I'm going to do, they say use telescoping snap gauges in a caliper. You know what? I've got something a little bit better to do first, a quick and dirty. Okay. I'm going to set a standard size. Okay. Which is, well, I don't know where I put it. Oh, yes. Here we go. Find it. Okay. Ta-da! Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use an inside gauge just to quickly. Okay, this is an 823 Starrett. I'm going to mock this up with the 1-inch standard. That'll give me 2.5 to 3. This thing reads in half to 1,000. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quick is take a micrometer in this, and a micrometer just to make sure that the dimension is the dimension that I say it's going to be, and I'm going to test fit a 2973. And again, 2970 is the upper limit of the bore size. So if I go 2973, and 3 thousandths is the reject. So if I go 2973, okay, on the mic and just jam it, you know, not jam, but test fit it in this bore, that should tell me, am I way out? Am I close? Again, we can measure, you know, what it says, 9 spot, or, you know, six measurements, two, you know, bore, you know, 90 degrees to each other at 3 places down the bore. That's 6 total measurements per bore. We can do that, okay? And we will do that just to get accurate measurements, okay? But again, I'll probably not use telescoping snap gauges. Again, I'll step through how to do it with a telescoping snap gauge, but I'll probably actually use a bore gauge, which is a comparator. I'll set a standard, set the bore gauge to that, and then I can quickly go boom, 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 boom with the bore gauge. If you don't have a bore gauge, you can do it with telescoping snap gauges. That's how we're going to do it, okay? But quickly first, before I set that up, I'm just going to go ahead and set this guy to 2973 and just do a quick dirty check just to see, okay? Because really what we're about is throwing a set of rings in it, you know, throwing a hone on the cylinder and throwing a set of rings in it to get it back out there. Thank goodness for Mother Nature, the water. Yeah, there's a little water there too. I got water pretty much under control, but there is a bit of a leak in the front wall, and so it dribbles in, and it'll be gone in a while. The pumps, you may hear them going in the background, but what we're going to do is just quick check these bores with the inside mic, and that will give me a high degree of where we are. And then I'll use a comparator set with a micrometer, you know, the bore gauge, to just do a plus minus quick. And again, I can set the bore gauge and just go instead of going with the snap gauges. Again, I'll do it with the snap gauge, but what we're going to do is just use this guy to quick and dirty, quick bore check, to give me a feeling of where we're at. All right. Okay, so we've got that, and that's actually a little big. Let's see here. Squeeze it. Yeah, it's rolling around on it. There we go. We're going to check it out. 70. Okay. I'm going to set that. To 73. Right there. And I can't do this with two hands, so or one hand. I'm going to check it quick. 29730. Okay, so I've got that set at 29730, which is the reject dimension. We're just going to take a look and see. And it, amazingly, I can put it in there at an angle, obviously, but it turns out it won't sweep, which is good. Okay, so that says that the bore is within the reject dimension, which means we'll get away with the rings. Yeah, I cannot sweep that indicator at 2973. Okay, let's take a look again. I actually squeezed it a little bit. Hold on. That's 2973 right there. No. Yeah. Checking the bores down here. I can't swing it. I can't. Yeah. Now the idea is if it was beyond the reject dimension, I would be able to take the indicator and sweep it like this. Okay, at the maximum bore. I can't do that. I can't spin this thing around. Okay, and so I'm setting the maximum reject dimension, okay, of this cylinder, and this doesn't fit. This is the reject dimension. So that's a good quick test. Okay, we'll go ahead and do the snap gauges and stuff, and actually I'm going to grab up a nice Chinesium indicator. We'll set that to 29730 or 2973, and then we'll check our snap gauges against it as well. And yeah, that's not 30 thou. Okay, we'll take a look. Actually, I'm going to turn the light on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even think I need to. We check these bores, and actually you can still kind of see the crosshatch there, but they're polished up quite a bit. So I'm still going to run a hone down it. And we check the dimension, and actually it's 297.1.5 consistently throughout. Checked all the bores, all the dimensions. 297.1.5. It's not tapered. It has a barely feelable mark there. So basically the bores were polished. But what I was surmising was that the end gap, now that's the end gap for the top ring in this cylinder. Yeah, those rings are shot. So, you know, hit it right on the head. It seems like all this motor needs is rings. We're going to actually measure that, but I'm pretty confident that it's way over the 30 thousandths limit. And again, the manual here. So there we go. Okay, ring end gap. Reject dimension 30 thou. Okay, and do we care what the dimension actually is? Well, no, not really. But just for the heck of it, I went ahead and kind of found it. And what is that? Well, 22, no, and 24, and 25. So 46, 60, 71. Okay, so that's way off. So I got the rings, the factory rings. I'm gonna check. And actually, I had made a comment earlier, is made in China. Actually, this says these are the standard rings for this motor. Okay, and it says made in US. So what do I know? Maybe they're made in Wisconsin. Who knows? Okay, so we're going to check one of these and see what the gap is. Again, we know the bores are good, so we're going to check some new rings against the bores and, you know, make sure we're under 30 thou.